making almond milk, and there were some requests on how to make it or for me to go live the next time I make it, so here I am. So last night, this morning, but it is recommended the night before you are going to make almond milk to soak your almonds. The soaked almonds expand to just about double the amount of what you soaked them to. So if you soak 2 cups of almonds overnight, it's going to come up with about 4 cups of almonds, which then I make 2 cups of soaked almonds at a time, and so that will allow for me to make 2 batches. And it makes just about 64 ounces of almond milk. So I just realized I didn't pour out my water here because I had just washed my jar. So I apologize for that. Let me just do that real quickly here. So I will leave that upside down. So let me go ahead and just give you the scoop. So the way that I make my almond milk, I do not sweeten my almond milk. It is for my 1-year-old, and we use it as a base for our Shakeology, the liquid. So I do 7 cups of water for 2 cups of soaked almonds. So I have it ready to spare you the time, and I use a Vitamix or a high power blender because that way it can blend all the almonds up thoroughly. And beside me, I make sure I have my bowl for it to, the milk to pour into, and a strainer, and a handkerchief. I've used a cheesecloth, and I did a little bit of research and found that, like myself, many did not like the cheesecloth. They actually preferred the handkerchief. It has more of a fine strain, and that way almond pulp does not go over into the milk. So this is how I make it happen. I have my mixing bowl here, my strainer, and my handkerchief. And then this is the about 2 cups. It's not quite as much because, as I mentioned, I encourage to soak the almonds overnight, but I forgot to soak them last night, so I did them first thing this morning at about 5 a.m. So soaking them overnight is going to get you more. So here's my my water and my almonds, and I'm going to start at 1, and I'm going to move all the way up, and my baby wants to see. It's one of his favorite parts. You ready? He likes to dance to it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, and then I'm going to move it up. Depending on how your blender works, your high power blender works, blend it on high for about 1 to 2 minutes. I'm not exactly sure how long that was, but I think it's okay. So then what you do is you pour your milk into your strainer, your handkerchief lined strainer. And you want to pour a little bit slow so that the milk doesn't kind of overflow out and then you have a milky mess. And you want to have your handkerchief kind of evenly lined so that a piece of it doesn't fall in. So it will take a couple minutes for the liquid to thoroughly strain through and leaving the pulp on the top part. So while that strains, I will just rinse out my Vitamix. So that is all good. And I will share with you the purpose of straining the almond pulp from the sure if you've ever purchased almond flour, but it's pricey. I believe it's like $8.99 a pound. And if you strain your pulp and you bake it at 170 for, I bake mine personally for about 8 hours. So I pretty much like let it bake through the night or through the day. I prefer through the day so I can power off my oven at night. But if you bake it at 170 at your lowest temperature, you will get almond flour. So then what you do at this point, this is it baked. This was my last batch, and this is it baked. And you dry blend it. So I use my NutriBullet cup, and I put it in here, and I just blend, shake, blend, shake. I guess I could do that for you real quickly. Let me do that. Hold on.
Whoa. What?
Sorry, I should have been prepared for that. Hold on, Bubbles.
I'm making a big piece.
So I use the sharper blade, and I'm just going to do a little bit because I didn't necessarily prepare for that.
My big.
But just to show you. Alright, so here's the almond flour from my last batch. It's not blended yet, so it's not quite almond flour. So while that's still soaking through a little bit more, this is my NutriBullet, and it's a dry cup. And now you have almond flour, very fine almond flour. So you can use this to bake with. I like using it for my pancakes. I use like half whole wheat and half almond flour. It mixes really nicely. And so I will go ahead and show you this process. So now once the pulp has just about strained through, or I'm sorry, the liquid has strained through and the pulp is on top, what I do is get all four corners and I grab to make sure there are no openings, and I twist. As you can see, there's quite a bit left of liquid in here, and so I squeeze that and make sure, because if it's too liquidy and you try to bake that, then it's not going to bake well. So I just kind of give it my best, and then I separate a little bit, and then squeeze again. And I kind of do that a few times. Anybody have 1-year-olds? You understand the cry? Okay, and so then after squeezing that liquid as much as you can from the handkerchief, I kind of just separate it as much as I can in here, and I'll just quickly show it to you, and then I'll show you the milk, and we will be done. So it's just wet almond flour, and then I will put it on the pan, and then I will bake it. Okay, so the last part is the almond milk, and I'll just pour it into my jar here. Oh, what's that, dude? And there you go. 2 cups of almond milk, 7 cups of water, blend, strain, squeeze extra tight, and transfer into a jar that you want to store it in. It will last about 3 to 4 days in the refrigerator. You can freeze it. The consistency is not quite the same when you do it that way. So personally, that's why I save a half batch for my next round. I already have it soaked, and so I just need to pour water, blend, and repeat. So I personally do not like freezing my homemade almond milk. You can sweeten it as well with some cinnamon, dates, but like I said, we don't like it sweetened. And that is it. And I will share the recipe for the almond milk and the almond flour in comments below. Thank you. Oh, sorry.